Coach Sanders, let's call him Coach Sanders. He has to deserve prime. You don't come into this season after getting off 4-8, call yourself prime. You're Mr. Sanders until you prove otherwise. Just kidding. Coach Prime and his Chargers, they're going to be at home in Colorado, but they're taking on a formidable foe, North Dakota State, which isn't an easy win or an easy win against them, especially. And Vegas seems to know it with a 10.5-point line for Colorado at home, back in the Big 12. What's up?
As you can see, I'm hyped for college football.
Oh, you already know.
My boys got UTEP on Saturday, but you want to start off with Coach Prime. I'm hearing talk that NDSU, they're a live dog, and hopefully for Coach Prime, they're not taking them lightly. North Dakota State supposedly can put up a lot of points.
Yes, they can.
And they have the type of offense that can exploit what Colorado didn't do well last year. We'll see if they made those corrections. You know, it brought in a lot of new players. I don't know if the talent level is better, but you know, they had a whole offseason to prepare for this game, so no excuses.
How much worse could it get from last season? We saw how it started off, but when you put it into context, you start seeing the problems this team had. You know, you look at that TCU team and you look at all the production that was lost from the previous year. The only thing in common was having that TCU name, Horned Frogs. That was about it. That's the only thing that school had going into that season. And Deion Sanders and his crew got a little bit more credit than they deserved, because when they started playing the real teams that are either formidable or even average, they started showing their true colors and started showing what that offense and defense was about. Offensive line in particular that couldn't block anybody. So to Shadour's credit, he was able to still make some things happen with that porous offensive line. Right now, this is supposed to be a strength of the team, the offensive line, going by the plays they brought in. North Dakota State, no stranger to beating Division 1A teams. I think they can go on the road as a live dog and make some things happen, at the very least, make it interesting with those 27 seniors they have coming back from that team.
I'm interested to see what effects Warren Sapp has on the defense.
True. Yes.
Yeah, it seemed like they concentrated mostly on offense last year with Shador and Travis, although he was going both ways. You know, two highly explosive players. Mm-hmm. And the defense seemed to be missing that somewhat. I'm interested to see what Warren Sapp comes with.
See, now with the way college football is and knowing Coach Prime and the players he brought in, you see this is a hodgepodge of talent once again. And chemistry is still going to be a problem once again, I believe, because unlike other coaches out there who kind of supplement what they already have, which is typically a solid foundation, at least the top coaches or very good coaches. You know, you look at either what Kirby Smart is doing or even what Dabo Swinney doesn't go into the transfer portal, but looking at the coaches that keep their team solid and they dip into the transfer portal, they're kind of judicious with what they're doing. On the other hand, with Deion Sanders, he's bringing in everything and he's throwing it together, even though, you know, the talent is there. They're still, with football being a sport of so many moving parts, you need that chemistry. You know, you just don't throw everybody together and think you have an all-star team that's going to be able to play well together. You need the chemistry, and I think it takes more than a summer camp or even a spring camp in order to make that happen. And he's constantly bringing guys in wholesale, not just 1, 2, 3, or 4. We're talking 25, 35, and 40 players coming in a roster.
Yeah, I think I heard it was 47 or 49 or something.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's half the team. So yeah, your point is well taken. Trying to piece everyone together and get them to play as one cohesive unit. That's good. That's a big task to ask of anyone. We'll see if they're up to the challenge.
And Warren Sapp, I mean, how much can he really bring? Because you still ultimately need the talent in order to be able to play the way he wants you to play. And a lot of times,
but on defense, you can play with a lot of emotion, you know,
you can.
A lot of intensity, and I think that's where he'll come in.
He'll come in with that, and he could get you the fire and brimstone you need to go into the initial game with the attitude and the aura until you start getting punched in the face and it kind of starts waning. And depending on how early it starts, well, it starts waning early. If it starts too early, you can have a 300-pound defensive tackle who benches 220 pounds going against that offensive lineman who's benching 400 pounds. And Coach Sapp can tell you whatever the hell he wants to tell you. You're still getting tossed around. You're still getting thrown to the side. You're still getting double teamed and ripped up and running down your throat. And, Warren Sapp has been in this spot before playing your boys with the Huskies when he talked about how it's going to be a long day once he started to see how they push them around.
Huskers.
Yeah.
Huskies. Right?
Huskers. The way he played against the Huskers when Miami played in the Orange Bowl against Nebraska in the year when they started pushing them down the field, he was like, hey, he told Ray Lewis, it's going to be a long day. Bro, it was a long day. And then they were the ones dragging their freaking tongue against the Nebraska team that was supposed to just be a bunch of big dudes from the Midwest. So he knows all about how things can turn on a dime when it's time to really put up. But they do have the home field advantage this time around. Last year, they played in that oppressive heat in Texas. Being at home does matter. It's not hot as it is in Texas, and maybe the home cooking and so forth. They should win. 10.5 says there's a real possibility they should win. Not handily, but at the end, you want the win.
I don't know. 10.5 tells me that they should dominate.
In college?
Yeah, it's not 18, it's not 20, but 10.5, that's still a pretty wide spread.
Well, in college,
the spreads are all about even money on both sides.
Yeah.
But I don't think if you ask the bookmakers, is Colorado going to lose? I'm going to say they're going to say no.
Well, you know what? I haven't really checked the money line because the money line will tell you more of what people really believe. But in any event, I'm saying just knowing North Dakota State's history, going back to even Carson Wentz and seeing how, Trey Lance, for the little time he was there, I mean, that team was a pretty formidable team on the 1AA ranks, and they were winning championships, or the FCS ranks, and they were winning championships back then. I don't think too much has changed, especially now in this environment of 1A football, the FBC. But anyway, with all this going on now, the way people change from team to team, and it's not that cohesion that you really want, at least on this level. The higher upper echelon teams, like Georgia, like Michigan, like Ohio State, they don't really go into the transfer portal like that. They still go with the core of what they brought in from their high school days, and typically it works out well for them. But for a team like Colorado, I can see when things start going down, they go down quickly. And we've seen it last season. When things got bad, they got bad quick.
That's true. We'll see how long they can ride that wave this year. He's got to win more than 4 games. We talked about this on Monday.
Yeah, the honeymoon is over. The money's coming in, but the honeymoon is over because another bad season, mediocre season, something that's not moving the needle, then even the people who were rah-rah about what's going on, they're going to start taking their dollars away. And in college football, college sports, it's all about the dollars and cents. The boosters start stepping away, and then the people don't show up to the games. The celebrities aren't going to show up anymore. I'm going to be surprised if there are any celebrities showing up tonight because this is when they're playing.